the hour is late, and therefore my remarks addressed to you, dear friends, will hopefully be brief. And I'm sure that you share that hope with me, and I hope that I can realize it for your benefit. On an occasion of this sort, when we consecrate a sanctuary of the Gnosis with the full rites for the benefit of those who will perform here the holy sacrifice of the Mass, we may ask ourselves with some justification a question that needs to be asked and answered many times throughout life. Why are we doing this? What is the underlying intentionality, the underlying purpose, and the hoped for benefit of our sacred activities? For these need to be rediscovered again and again in our minds, and our allegiance to them and our pursuit of them needs to be reaffirmed. In every age of the history of this peculiar and darkened world, which was called by Madame Blavatsky the planet of suffering and of sorrow, quite with much justification and quite in good Buddhist tradition as well. There has always been help. And what we speak of in this, let's say, transcendental and transcosmic sense is always something that can also be applied to us with a slight modification of meaning personally. Here is a body floating in space, filled with living creatures. Even those creatures just mean something created, creatura, including those that are immobile and fixed and with only a peculiar kind of consciousness, such as plants and all these. And they all are in need of being liberated, ransomed, their shackles of one kind or the other taken off, so that they may re-establish contact with their transcendental source, from whence they have come, and whither they all hope to return. And in order to facilitate this tremendously difficult task, we receive help. The fullness of being, our own original celestial home, from time to time sends its messengers, minor ones and major ones, into this world, and they bring with them a gift. The great gift of the Piscean age, or whatever you wish to call it, the ion which presumably is now coming to the end, was the one which you have just witnessed and which you have partaken of and actually brought it into your body. The mystical body of the divinity, of the transcendence, of the fullness itself. A miniature pleroma which can be taken into our bodies, and from there it irradiates all aspects of our being, all aspects of our soul, clear up to our spirit. This was the gift of the fullness for the last 2,500 years. And as always, it has existed in some form before. This is not a lecture, so I'm not going to tell you where it existed, but it did exist. And it will, and now comes the the crucial statement or question, it shall continue to exist. Similarly, we might say, just by analogy, we as individuals also, we are in the same boat, in the same shape as the tiniest little bug or the biggest tree in the forest, and all the animals in between, and then all of humanity. We are exiled from our true nature and the true nature of divinity. But this exile is made bearable to us at our level. And it also strengthens us for the efforts that we need to make for the return journey. That the bread from heaven, as it has been called, has been given to us. That we have been given the grace by way of the mystical succession of the priesthood, whereby it can be changed, transfigured, transformed, forever changed into a mystical substance, which, for lack of more expressive words, is referred to as the body and the blood of Christ, the body and the blood of the Logos. It is the most precious gift that we have. And the important thing at this point to keep in mind is that this gift and the ability to convey it, to administer it, must be preserved for the future. The world is changing, our country is changing, much of it in a very bewildering and disturbing fashion, and it will continue to change. Things will continue to change in such a way that they will be even more unbelievable than they are now, if that is credible at all. And in the midst of all of that, there must be some things that will help, some things that will maintain the connection with our transcendental home. And among these, I think, primary importance is the sacred bread and the sacred wine, the body and the blood of God that has been given to us. This has to be done. And among the plausible and possibly true prophecies, such as those of the great Carl Jung and others, it is clearly indicated that the preserving of these mysteries is of great importance. Those of you who are interested in the details of that will have an opportunity perhaps to converse a little bit afterwards, and I can refer you to the sources. But it is for that task, to preserve the gift, to call attention to it, and to make it available without restriction to those who wish to take it into themselves and to be thereby strengthened. The bread of the angels, the lifeblood of God, unbelievable, unearthly substance. I know that with our physical eyes we cannot readily perceive that. But I can assure you, both from an almost lifetime experience in the priesthood and the episcopate, that I had innumerable instances proving to me that we are dealing here with something out of this world, something extremely holy and extremely helpful. And what we are doing here this morning is to put out a feeble effort, for that's all we are capable of, for the perpetuation, the preservation of this most holy thing and the holy activity whereby it is brought down to earth. For we are in great need of help and will continue to be. And if we can perpetuate the availability and the pure form of the Holy Mystery for the future, then we will have done a very, very important work. Then we have followed a calling, the importance of which, the sacredness of which, the power of which has absolutely no limit. That's why we are here. That's why our good brother and priest Peter has put forth all the efforts in order to create a sacred space and the sacred circumstances for this most holy activity, and for which he and you will be blessed. And the only message that I can give you this morning is try to be present, try to help with that, for the importance of this is such that we cannot even envision it. It is a tremendously important effort to carry forth the Holy Sacrament into the future. Religion is waning in Western culture and in many other cultures too. People are turning their backs on the various sacred activities that they have been conducting for at least a couple of thousand years. But it is just because of that we have to carry forward this sacred thing and to make it available for the future, for its sanctifying and helping and healing function and power is and will continue to be of tremendous importance. So this is the mission, this is the work. And I have here a prayer with which I will conclude my ruminations. It is difficult to put on glasses with mitres at the same time. And with that, I will thank you for having been here, and thank you for continuing with your devotion and your assistance, so that this sanctuary of the Gnosis may continue and may make the sacred help available. Let us pray. Send forth thy truth and thy light, and come forth from thy celestial mansion, thou embodiment of God, bread of the angels, thou body of God, thou bread of the angels, thou the white and winged stone from heaven, thou the most precious jewel of the treasury of light, mystery of mysteries, God of every God and Lord of every Lord. Take possession of thy holy temple and allow it to become the abiding source of grace to thy children, and allow your grace to dwell in it forevermore. Amen.